to be done, what should I do. Okay, so all these things should be erased. The traffic policeman also works under pressure only. He has to circulate all the crossroads. He has to see the persons who are not following the rules. So he is also under pressure. So the psychological pressure that in a metropolitan city like Ahmedabad or Mumbai or Bangalore, you can see, you can have that what, and apart from all this, top of it, the environment, the scorching environment, the heat. So all this affects the psychological mindset of the traffic policeman as well. So here the psychology also helps in understanding the psychology of the person who is traveling, who is driving, and the person who regulates the rules and regulations. Nowadays there is a trend going on that we should be positive. Positivity helps in the long run. If you are positive, things will be positive. The goals will be positive. We ourselves will be positive. Okay, so positivity also comes under applied positive psychology. I have just downloaded a video that showcases the applied positive psychology, that in a nutshell helps us to understand that nothing is negative in environment, nothing is negative, nor we are negative. The circumstances and our mental mindset makes it negative things. So let us watch the video and come back and see and understand what is the paraphernalia of all applied psychology is.
Positive psychology is the scientific study of what makes life most worth living. It is a science, and science requires testing theories against evidence. It is not a sequel to The Secret, and should not be confused with untested self-help, fly-by-night motivational speakers, or New Age philosophy. Much of psychology has been concerned with answering the question, what is wrong with you? It has sought to make individuals less miserable, to treat pathology and mental illness. The goal of the positive psychology movement is to make normal life more fulfilling. It asks the question, what is right with you? Instead of trying to help a patient go from -8 back to 0, the goal is to help individuals move up the other side of the scale. The field is intended to complement, not to replace, traditional psychology. It does not seek to deny the importance of studying how things go wrong, but it does assert that strength is as important as weakness, and that it is just as important to build on the best things in life as to repair the worst. Positive psychology is concerned with increasing well-being. Is well-being the same thing as happiness? Not exactly. Martin Seligman, co-founder of the positive psychology movement, describes well-being as being made up of 5 pillars: positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. Branches of exploration in positive psychology. The term flow was coined by Mike Csikszentmihalyi, co-founder of the positive psychology movement. Flow is a state of absorption in one's work. It is characterized by intense concentration, loss of self-awareness, a feeling of being perfectly challenged, neither bored nor overwhelmed, and a sense that time is flying. Flow is an intrinsically rewarding experience. It can also help one achieve a goal or improve skills, and is highly related to creative insight. Mindfulness is intentionally focused awareness of one's immediate experience. The experience is one of moment-by-moment attention to thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, and surroundings. To practice mindfulness is to become grounded in the present moment. Benefits include reduction of stress, anxiety, depression, and chronic pain. Learned optimism is the idea that a talent for joy can be cultivated. That said, it's important to note the research tells us that the path to fulfillment requires considerable hard work. There are few, if any, shortcuts to sustained happiness and well-being. Anyone who says otherwise is selling something. It is contrasted with learned helplessness, which is when one believes that he or she has no control over what occurs, and that external forces, such as genetics or social class, ultimately dictate his or her ability to accomplish a task or succeed. Evidence suggests that well-being is not simply the result of a fortunate spin of the genetic roulette wheel. There are things that people can actively do to lead more fulfilling lives. Professor Howard Gardner is leading a large-scale effort to identify individuals and institutions that exemplify good work. Work that is excellent in quality, socially responsible, and meaningful to its practitioners. The project also seeks to determine how best to increase the incidence of good work in our society. The Good Work Project argues that society as a whole would be better off to encourage individuals to pursue excellence for its own sake, to gravitate toward projects where they regularly achieve a sense of flow, and to find positions that will help them achieve higher levels of fulfillment. Is positive psychology an easy answer to all of society's problems? No, let's not be naive. But we must ask ourselves, if we applied the tenets of positive psychology to education, business, and government, if we encouraged individuals and communities to build on their strengths, if we focused attention on the pillars of well-being, if we channeled more energy into what makes life worth living, what might be possible?
Now, this was a small video about applied positive psychology. That is also trending nowadays, that we should have positive energy, positive attitude. Everything that we work on should be positive. In short, it is said that whatever we are doing in our life, if we are doing with a positive thought that I can excel, I can do it, then it automatically conserves in doing all these things. So positive applied psychology where gives a runway, gives a very good platform where an individual can construct and modulate his life and propel to a better achievement in his life. All the applied psychology in nutshell says that, like psychology, applied psychology is a touch of professional psychological experience to solve the psychological problems of human behavior that we come across daily. Now, applied positive psychology deals with the positivity of the life, positivity of the nature, positivity of the environment. So here, applied psychology, especially in positive psychology, is the study of not only study of mind or behavior, but how we can have a good human. Good human only exists when we have good behavior, and good behavior only exists when we have a good mental status. You can see that most of us have Facebook account, WhatsApp account, all sort of social networking sites we are in. But when we are in that all sort of things, we update our status. Recently, I have seen a Instagram video, fun of Instagram videos, that uh, we all showcases what we are doing, right? Like, I'm going to a journey, I'm going to travel, but to the opposite, we are sitting at home. So we are rather updating our status on social network. It is not bad, but rather updating our social networking status, like we are doing this, we are doing that, positive thinking, that is good. But actually, are we are doing the same thing in our real life? That is a big question mark. To understand, many a times it helps in understanding the psychology of a person also. What is on the status and what is off the status. So this is also one type of social networking psychology. That is one type of applied psychology itself, which analyzes what type of status the mind is going on. You can see number of statuses. The most WhatsApp status, like, they keep on changing every one day or every 1 hour or every I can say every 10 minutes they are keep only to attract the attention of the other people, or it may be genuine also, but it also analyzes the behavioral analysis of the person who is doing all these things. No doubt, to propagandize ourselves is good to a certain extent, but to propagandize in a wrong way shows the mental incapability of our mind. Social networking sites helps not only to connect the people but also in analyzing the human behavior of a person. Positive applied psychology is something that we are not only writing positivity or are giving a lot of positive thoughts but implementing in our life also. If we are positive, we are positive with our thoughts, then only we can move ahead in our life. That is all about positive applied positive psychology. Now, in conclusion, we can say that what is the basic difference between basic and applied psychology? Applied psychology, in short, is a psychological, professional experience or skills that is added to solve the problems of human behavior in any area. Right from the birth to the moment we die, we have to learn ourselves to be accustomed with the environment as well as with the people with us, with the personality of the other peoples, with adjustments, with communication. All these have a certain set of mind, and in all stages we need a good study of mind. Applied psychology is that field of psychology which helps in nurturing the good state of mind of a human behavior. Now, as we move on, we have seen that there are a lot of psychology which have been tried and tested. The branches of psychology which deals with only one thing in common, right? For an example, industrial psychology, the organizational psychology, wherein we can see that in industrial psychology, how to which person should be recruited at the right place, or to study the mental status, or to study the mental depression, frustration, stress of a person working in that particular place, his behavior with his co-workers. All this comes under industrial psychology. Basically, we only understand that in a layman's language that psychology is something that's understand like study of human mind, but it has lot of other concepts also attached to that, and that is where applied psychology is there. Now, let us see what it said in the conclusion. It is not easy to come up with applied psychology that covers all of the circumstances in which psychological knowledge is applied and also encompass the professional nature of much applied psychology. However, just as psychology is the professional application of psychological knowledge to the solution of problems associated with human behavior, the same is with the applied psychology, which also need a professional application of psychological knowledge to the solution of problems associated with human behavior. As I told you earlier also, right from the birth, in an environment that you live in, and the mother, for an example, your mother, your father, they all are psychologists in one or the other way. They are applying the study of the mind of the children. That is also one type of applied psychology, wherein the parents understand the children. Sometimes the parents never understand the children, and it goes to a very drastic kind of environment. So, in and all, we have to even if we are not having that much expertise or knowledge, we have to have apply the things that is suitable for the environment. Right? If you are working in a firm or if you are working as a teacher in a school, first of all, you have to understand the learning environment, the learning atmosphere of the class, your co-staff, your principal, your coordinators. That all comes under educational psychology. That is one of the branch of applied psychology. I told you earlier, one of the branch of applied psychology is the consumer behavior. We have to, in applied psychology, it helps to understand the consumer behavior. You have seen that lot of ads are going on related to your fair skin and all. So this is understood. This is something that they have taken through questionnaires and asking questions, or from the opinion or from the tweets, that what type of product the consumer wants from the market to make them fair skin. So cutthroat competitions. For an example, in the new launch TVs or mobiles, they have this cutthroat computer. They understand the consumer behavior. The best example is that nowadays, if you purchase anything, if you go to sitting at home, you can have online consumer things like products, and when they reach your home, they deliver the things to you immediately. You have something in your phone that comes as give rating, 5-star rating, 4-star rating, and give a honest feedback. That is also on smileys, like we're not interested, like it was bad, it was good. So what is this all? This is all about the consumer behavior, to understand whether the consumer is satisfied or not with this particular product, or whether the consumer is satisfied with this services or not. So the best example, other best example is that when you go to a restaurant nowadays, you will find that after finishing your lunch and all sweet dish and etc., when the bill is given to you, there is again a feedback form. What is that feedback form? This feedback form is again to understand the consumer. So all in all, this is a study of mind, or what measures to be taken that can improve their quality of the product, or improve the quality of their environment, or can attract more consumers. So what this study is known as, this is consumer behavior. The study of consumer behavior is also one type of applied psychology. The other we can say is that traffic psychology, we have discussed earlier also. This is the same thing, like the lot of accidents, lot of unhappenings on highways can be stopped if we have good traffic sense, rule of traffic sense. So what we have to do is the traffic psychology, that have to have a study of mind, good status of mind while we are driving, or what type of route we have to take, or what en route we have to do when we have to reach the destination. Not only this, applied psychology also helps in professional upliftments, like industrial psychology. The applied psychology helps in that the way we sit during the interview, the way we communicate during the interview, the way we walk to the interview room, right? So all these things comes under industrial and organizational psychology of applied psychology. So we can conclude towards this statement by saying that if we want to find happiness, cannot be something that cannot